Hello there my darlings, it's Keely here and I'm back today to make something exciting with my Spring Patterns and Papers book and my latest teeny tiny spring ephemera to cut out on collage. Now I've picked out this washi tape that I'm just showing you here. This is a voiceover by the way, because I picked up the washi tape because I thought it might be useful in helping me to make my masterboard. So what's a masterboard? A masterboard is a larger piece of art that I suppose has, value in that it is a really cool background. So I'm creating a background. What you can then do when you've created your masterboard background is either look at it and think, that's nice, or you can use it as a background to add other things on the top. So with collage, obviously we're layering things like, pictures, labels, ephemera, bits and bobs. You can do mixed media things with masterboards as well, and paint over them, or splatter them, or there's all kinds of things you could do. So anyway, today I'm keeping it fairly simple. So my masterboard involves little patterns which are from various of the cut and collage books that I have published, and obviously I'm just adding in some little bits of washi tape here to give it a little bit more colour and just to break it up a bit and make it a bit more interesting. And I love the washi tape that I bought a little while ago. Haven't used it that much, but it's very, very satisfying to add to different projects, and I am trying to use it rather than just leave it in the box on a shelf somewhere. So, because it's fun and these things cost money and I want to use it and enjoy it, like all my crafting supplies I suppose. But anyway, you can see what sort of background pieces I've got here. There's some pink blossom going in, there's some little I was going to say hydrangea, they're not hydrangeas, they're, what are the little blue flowers you can see on the top right there? Hyacinths. I get them muddled up, hydrangeas and hyacinths. Love both of them. They smell amazing, hyacinths, don't they? Maybe I need to invest in a little hyacinth in a pot to have around the home, and it will smell amazing. So adding in some more of that green washi tape because it just gives it a little bit of general direction, I suppose, that links different areas. So if I use it 4 or 5 times on that piece, it will just sort of hold it all together. Now at this point when I was filming this, I really didn't know what I wanted to make. I didn't know whether, and I sort of suspected that I might cut it up, this masterboard, and make it into some smaller pieces of art which were going to be artist trading cards. But anyway, if you watch you'll see what I did decide to do with this particular one. And I really love making masterboards. It's so relaxing and it's a great way to use up scraps. So where sometimes I've made a different project, I have some squares and rectangles left over, and I don't just want to leave them lying around. So it's a really good way to use those up and add another fresh sort of approach with some new patterns. So yeah, and also I quite often use gel prints when I'm doing this too, which is a lovely way to add some colour and different textures. And gel prints by themselves, unless you're an amazing gel print artist, you can end up with quite a lot of bits and bobs that look very nice, but actually they're more useful cut up and used as backgrounds for other things because they've got a particular texture or colour that works well. So I do like adding little bits of gel prints, and yeah. So I don't know what you think of this, but I quite like the stripes too. It just breaks it up a little bit more and draws the eye. So I wanted, excuse me, I wanted quite an even spread across the masterboard so that it, you know, drew the eye to different areas and made you want to look closer. So a little bit of trimming. Now my paper cutter is going a bit blunt, so if you're really sharp-eyed you might notice that some of these pieces are a little bit furry looking around the edges, and I do need to order myself a new blade. I'm not quite sure how to replace the blade that I've got, but I'm sure I'll find somebody on YouTube. I've got a feeling that Gail Angustonelli did a replacing a blade video once. I'm sure somebody did that I watched. So anyway, yeah, I need to get a new blade, and then it'll cut nice and cleanly instead of these slightly furry looking edges that I was trimming there. So anyway, there we go. A few more blossomy bits, and I love pastel colours. I know this time last year I made some ATCs with my afternoon tea ephemera book, and they're ever so pretty. I really enjoyed making them, and I think I made about 9 at the time. And I'll just have a look now because they're on my desk. Yes, I did. So there were little teacups and saucers and bunnies and lots of pretty things like butterflies and stuff. And I did use some stamping to do lettering and things on those as well. But absolutely loved them, and they're quite satisfying to just play with and hold and sort of shuffle and enjoy. So yeah, I still love looking through those. And yeah, bit more washi tape going on there. And do you use washi tape? Let me know in the comments what you like using washi tape for, because it might give me some ideas. And you know, share and share alike, guys. Hoping that some of these will make little picture frames as well. Can you see the washi tape I'm putting on is kind of in rectangular little windows. So yeah, just something else to draw the eye and keep your eye moving across the masterboard to explore all the different pretty colours and patterns. So my darlings, I have been quite busy fussy cutting. There's my masterboard all finished, and I've been fussy cutting from my latest book here, Spring Ephemera, teeny tiny spring ephemera I might add, to cut out and collage. Now if you haven't seen the flip through video, I'll link it at the end or I'll link it down below so that you can find that. Basically I've made a book full of teeny tiny spring ephemera, and it's quite sort of mid-century vintage, I would say, and which I love, sort of 1930s, 1940s, 50s. And yeah, so there's so much in here. If you make ATCs, twinchies, inchies, mini journals, you know, tags, birthday cards, ATCs. Did I say that? Maybe I already did. Yeah, if you make any of that stuff and you want to do some spring things, this book is full of goodies. So I need to start laying these out on my masterboard. Now I nearly cut this up when I started making it. You saw me earlier. I haven't really decided whether to cut it up or not. But I just can't bear it. I can't bear it. So I am going to decorate it as is, because this book is my masterboard book. Now I did kind of nick this idea from my darling friend Nicole at Relax Cut Glue. So I've been working on it for about a year. So yeah, it's the 26th of February now while I'm recording this, and this was last year's Valentine's masterboard that I made with my Valentine's book. And I'll just quickly show you. That was made with the butterflies book and some labels from my Ko-fi shop. Do you want to see those? yeah, all these fancy labels, vintage ones, are available in my Ko-fi shop. Check down below for that. Fish from my vintage fish to cut and collage, and some jelly prints. That was obviously from my Easter book, so I did quite a lot last spring. And oh, I love this one ever so much. This is from, look at all the goldy colours, that's from my antique ephemera book. You can see lots of sort of vintagey antiques and bits and bobs. And that was afternoon tea, which was rather sweet, wasn't it? Look at the little mouse with the teacup. Anyway, I won't go on too much about all of that. Let's just, oh, so big. There we are, tuck that under there. Yeah, when I saw Nicole doing her Masterboard book, I just nearly did a small wee because I was so excited, and I thought, I have to make one of those. It's just really calling to me. So, and that was even before I started my YouTube channel, I have to say. So thanks for the encouragement there, Nicole. I know you've got a fantastic Masterboard glue book, and you actually did a Masterboard while I was recording this the other day. So how funny is that? Right, next little scruple. Do I ink around the edges? Now at the moment, these are all looking very bright and fresh, and they've all got a little white edge. Now, if I ink round the edges, is it going to make it all look a bit grimy and dirty, or do I want to just keep it fresh this time? I don't know. I really don't know. What about... Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got either Hickory Smoke or Vintage Photo, which I use pretty much all of the time. And that one, must remember to use the right one. I think I'm just going to try the Hickory Smoke on one of these little labels and just put it on here. And if I hate it, or if it just doesn't sit right, I'll check out the Vintage Photo on a different one. And if that doesn't work, I'll give up and just not bother to ink them. Now, they're very tiny images. Let's have It's Nearly Spring. It's just really to take the bright whiteness off and just give it a little bit of something. As I say, I don't want it to look dirty, and I think that can happen with the grey ones when it's so fresh looking. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? I'm going to go for it this time. Right, Vintage Photo, you can go over there. And Hickory Smoke, archival ink. Because I feel guilty if I keep using the same old stuff all the time. Like I should be exploring. No, I don't want this to look too dirty. Let's just double check that that's what I want to do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to do. Right, I need to do a quick bit of inking. And then I've got to decide. It's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. Only there's no right or wrong way. I've got so many little pieces here. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It doesn't make it too bright, but it just takes the edge off a little bit. You probably can't even see that. It's so teeny tiny. There. Welcome back, spring. It's nearly spring. Right, let's do the labels first, and I know I've done all of them. So I'm not going to film all of the inking, but just wanted to really to show you how pretty these tiny labels are. And you could use these, you know, even in your sort of family diary or your calendar on the wall. You could just add these in. Now, I am working, surprise, surprise, on a summer version of this book. So, you know, you could do the whole year eventually when I've made it all being well, all things considered. I'm about, well, a third of the way through the summer one, so it is on its way. But I don't want to wish the year away. Right, so those are some of the labels from this little book. And there's It's Spring. Don't forget, it is teeny tiny. So for people who love a tiny project, or if you know somebody who loves a tiny project, this would be such a nice gift, wouldn't it? And also, because they're so tiny, there's just a huge variety in one book, so it'll keep you going for ages. And yeah, so oops, let's make sure you can see. There we go, little blue tits. I usually see blue tits in my garden at this time of year. Love those guys. Right, where am I putting the ones I've done? Let's just pop them on there. And cute little nest with eggs. A pretty little crocus. There we go, some hands holding a little mug with spring flowers. There we go. Yeah, I think this hickory smoke is just enough, if not overly used. I do have a bit of a habit of going in a bit heavy with my archival ink around the edges, but I just love doing it. It's so satisfying and yummy. It just feels like I've put a little bit of myself into every single piece. So I have been doing a bit of decorating yesterday before I shot off to work. Yeah, I know, overachieving. So yeah, I'm painting the hallway and it is quite nice. It's a bit like this. I love actually decorating as long as my body is not aching all over. So yeah, it's so nice to just put your mark on somewhere, isn't it? And your stamp, and put a bit of your soul into a place. And yeah, that's been a bit lacking since I've lived here in this house. There we go. So yeah, there we are, little hedgehog look in a bonnet. Adorable. And there's quite a few pretty ladies with umbrellas in this book. Quite a few little spring fashion pages and images. Super cute, in my humble opinion. And some blossom in a little vase. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think you could make with this. I think it would make a beautiful addition to a handcrafted journal. You know, if you were going to do tags and pockets and tucks and little journaling cards for a spring journal for somebody, then, you know, crack on, grab this book so that you can make one of those, because that would be very pretty indeed, wouldn't it? There we are. Right, it's time to start arranging things. Now I might have to cut some more out. Let's just zoom out there for you. Might have to cut some more out because I'm not entirely sure I've got enough. It's a bit suck it and see, really. So I was sort of thinking, there's quite a few pink images that would go with the blossom, so that might go quite well. Cherry blossom, there we are. Cherry blossom. So if I sort of group them in some kind of like a little cluster, something a bit like that. I don't want to lose the images, but also I want it to be fun to sort of hunt through and look for, you know, different themes or different images, and just see, the more you look, the more you see type of scenario would be nice. There's a little crocus, and there's a crocus sign there. First signs. There we go. Well, there were certainly crocuses in Kew Gardens about a month ago now when I went. Yeah, so those are probably just about been and gone now. Let me think. Some eggs. it's spring. I've got a bird, I've got a blue tip. Maybe that could go over there. Oh no, I've got a blue tip label, haven't I? A little bunny. Don't know where to put that one. Maybe I could just go down there somewhere. So I'm just looking for a sort of an even balance, really. Oh, she's quite nice by the garden gate, isn't she? She's a bit smaller than the gate. Doesn't really matter. What about the hedgehog with the blossom by the gate? That's rather sweet, isn't it? And some of these backgrounds are so pretty. Can you see this? I don't really want to cover those flowers up because I just think they're lovely as they are, and it doesn't mean that I have to cover every single inch of this background. Plant some seeds. Where are my seeds? Oh, there we are. Plant some seeds. Very cute. So I'm trying to put like the kitten on one of the plainer backgrounds so that it's, you know, this is just my thought process, so that you can see it standing out a little bit more. And these stripes also seem to make those labels stand out a bit more, don't they? Draw the eye. So, which is why I think in a background like this, it is good to have a mixture and a few plainer images so that you can, you know, allow some of the other things to sing out as well. What else have we got? Welcome back spring. Do want something in the middle. And I'm happy with the washi tape that I added. This green just adds a little bit more of a spritzy, bright spring colour, doesn't it? In my humble opinion. It's nearly spring. And it's spring. There you go. It will do you all the way through. From nearly spring to spring. Right, where's the umbrella lady going to go? Maybe down there. Again, and perhaps using that washi tape to draw the eye so that you can spot her and she doesn't just vanish into thin air or masterboard air. Masterboard air. Nobody ever said that before, did they? Dear, oh dear. I'm going to put that bunny. Oh, it goes quite well with the blossom because the colour is the same, look. Turquoise. So you've got so many options here, really, haven't you? Blue tit. Not everybody needs a label, but spring is in the air. Go down there. She looks almost summery, so she can't have it's nearly spring, can she? Those might go together quite well. So very fancy. Little thoughts. Perhaps the squirrel. A fresh beginning. That's nice for that squirrel, isn't it? See, I have given nearly all of them a label now. I say I'm not going to do something and then I go off and do it, and I'm terrible like that. It's just me. Yeah, what about that? Because that, if you can see, has got hyacinths on it, and so has that bit of the masterboard. Right, I really like that, so I think I'm just going to stick it down and see whether I then need some more images from Teeny Tiny Spring. So, yeah, sticking time. Well, there we go, all stuck down. I don't think that needs anything else. You know, I was going to flip through the book and find a few more images, but apart from that stripy bit, there's a bit in your face over on that side, isn't it? I wonder if I should just find something to stick there. What could we have? Just looks like I've forgotten to stick something on it, doesn't it? Got some very cute animals. Maybe we could have something attached to this image. Now she's got that beautiful flowery blossom fan, hasn't she, and blossom in her hair. We've got the garden gate and the hedgehog. They're a bit close. Oh, I love this image so much. I did put it on the back cover of the book actually. Look, there it is. There she is. Very sweet. Might have to stick the washi tape down a bit better with my art glitter glue. Yeah, what could we just put there? Something small. I don't want another label, so it needs to be a person or a picture. Perhaps we could have another lady. So there's two of them together. Let's see. You see some of these objects have got writing on too. New beginnings, look. Spring morning blessings. Just don't want to make that area so busy that it looks lopsided. I'm not sure. Could have one of those little hearts, couldn't we? They were actually inspired by my holiday in Mexico that I had a couple of months ago, where I bought the most beautiful felt heart that somebody had handcrafted and stitched, and I thought, gosh, that's pretty. And that's partly why I added them into this book, because I do like to include, you know, little bits and bobs. I know, why don't we have her? She's so gorgeous, and she's a little bit like that lady. They're on a similar scale, and she's got that blue colour that's in there. Let's just cut her out. Don't forget, you've got all these beautiful patterns on the back. Now, I've collected, what I've started doing, when I cut up a teeny tiny book, I get a little box and I just store all of the teeny tiny bits. I've got all the background scraps in here, look, as well as the images that I didn't use for this one. So they build up and I know where they are. And they don't get lost and they don't get scrumpled, because nobody wants scrumpled images. Well, perhaps you do. That's what you're making, I suppose, doesn't it? So let's just very carefully cut her out. Can I salvage a bit of pattern? Yes. There we go. That goes in the box. Gluey fingers. And right, that bit's going to get chopped off. Right, let's quickly cut her out. Yeah, I did spend about, I don't know, an hour the other night fussy cutting these in front of the telly after dinner. I actually really enjoy fussy cutting, but it's amazing how quickly you use up the images. But there you go. But it's all part of the fun, isn't it? It's a bit like sort of sitting and knitting or something, which I haven't done for decades, but not much of a knitter, but I did learn how to knit when I was a child. My grandma used to knit me things. But isn't that a beautiful thing to do, for somebody to knit them something? Putting all that love and care into something and giving it to a person. Even if what you've made is It's hideous or full of mistakes. I just think that's lovely. My grandma used to knit me things like my brownie jumper. Everybody else had one bought from the shops and I had a hand knitted one. And yeah, that was so sweet of her, wasn't it? There we go. Right, I'm not going to forget to ink her. Just the littlest bit. Oops. Come back. You're done. There. Yeah, I rather like her there. It's nearly spring. So that one's tucked behind. She's going to have to go in front. Does look a bit crowded on that side now, doesn't it? Maybe I need to put something else down there just to balance it out a bit more. See, once you start tinkering, you can't stop. Never mind. Let's try and get in. It's just off centre, but within the stripy bit. There. Oh, come on then. One more bit. What did I have in here that I didn't use? There was the bunny. And there was a girl reading a book that I rather liked. But it's just a bit of a dark image, isn't it? It's a little bit orange. Little thoughts. No. Oh, let's put her there, and I'm going to just add that bunny down the bottom. And then I would have used everything that I fussy cut, apart from all the leftover patterns. Right, bunny, you can go there. Oops. There we go. Love it. So she's reading a nice springy book, and she's got pretty spring blossom in her hair as well. Little thoughts. Let's just put her there. Now I'm done. Am I done? I think I am. Let's have a proper look. Plant some seeds. Welcome back, spring. Spring is in the air. Little thoughts. A fresh beginning. Right then, guys, I'm done for today. So have a wonderful spring. And if you would like to buy a copy of my book, please go ahead. Pop it in your cart, even if you're not going to buy it today. It really helps Amazon to know that this book is going to be popular, this book coming. And I'll be so grateful to you. Even if you don't buy it, just save it on a list somewhere and Amazon will know that people are interested in it. That would help me enormously. And of course, if you do decide to buy, you will get sent a link to write a review. Honestly, it really helps me, and I'll be so grateful. So anyway, lots of love to you all, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you again for more springtime antics very soon. Take care, everybody. Love you loads. Bye.